Hello, my name is Tara Brabazon and I'm the Dean of Graduate Research at Flinders University, and welcome to Vlog 107, the fourth Industrial Revolution. And this vlog today is the conclusion of my three-part series that I have nicknamed the Spin Trilogy. That is, these phrases that are useful, are interesting, are enabling to think about your future, but are also clouded a great deal in spin, spruik and marketing. So those earlier phrases were the knowledge economy, creative industries, and yes, we've hit now the fourth industrial revolution. This latter phrase is so clouded in spin that actually if you put it in a washing machine, it would spin itself out of the spin cycle. It is that spun. And because of that, lots of problems emerge in how it is deployed. You'll find, particularly at a university environment, you'll go into meetings, and I go into meetings and we're all sitting around and someone utters, "Oh yes, we're now in the fourth industrial revolution." And around the table there's much nodding and grabbing one's chin and so forth. Yes, the fourth industrial revolution. And in our sort of space, it is amazing how often people say to me, "Oh look, Tara, you are training graduates for the fourth industrial revolution." Am I? Good to know, thanks very much. So there is some value in that phrase that we're going to talk about today, but there is a but, and it's a really big but. It's a Kim Kardashian sized but. We have to make sure we disconnect from some of the spin and the spruik and the marketing around it and actually see the part of it that is of value. Okay, so as always, what I'm going to try and do in the vlog this week is present as neutral a definition for you as I can. So just say, this is what it is, so you've got the terminology, you can use it with some awareness. And then I'm going to talk about its strengths to you and how it enables the work that you do, and also of course be very aware of the weaknesses and the flaws and the problems in it. And look, I promise not to roll my eyes too much. While I've been learning the vlog for you this week, a lot of the time I've been going, oh. So I promise you I will not be rolling my eyes much during this vlog. And the reason why I roll my eyes a lot around this topic is it's amazing how many guys or gals go, "This is new, this is revolutionary, this is brand new, this is exciting," and actually this is stuff that's existed for the last 25 years. You know those people that go, "Oh, I've just invented the wheel," without actually looking under the car and seeing the round black objects and going, "Oh right, well they actually already exist." It's really easy to describe something as revolutionary if you don't do any reading and you haven't seen that like 25 years of great scholars have already talked about this. So that's very much what we're dealing with the fourth industrial revolution. So let's put in place some definitions. The fourth industrial revolution is distinct from the other revolutions before it because it is a technological revolution based on the speed of change. So the speed of change has accelerated, the scope of change has accelerated, and particularly we are seeing radical, deep changes in social and economic systems. Okay, that's the definition. Now, this language that I'm about to use is rarely used by scholars in the field. Why I think the fourth industrial revolution is interesting is because it works in and with interfaces. For me, this is the value. It's looking at the interfaces, the relationships between the physical, the digital, and the biological. The physical, the digital, and the biological. The fourth industrial revolution brings these three attributes or entities together in an interesting way, so therefore interface management between them becomes crucial. That's why it's important. So obviously the Internet of Things is part of the fourth industrial revolution. Billions of people connected together through their mobile devices, the Internet of Things. Now all sorts of different applications, attitudes, attributes and objects are included as part of the fourth industrial revolution. In fact, really, it's a bit of a backward discourse, if I'm honest. They've started with the examples and then put a revolution around it rather than starting with the theory at the start. What are we dealing with here? And then using examples. So, it's pretty poor, really, the way we're doing it. We're looking at the examples and going, "Oh, look, all of these things are linked together." Well, they're probably not. But anyway, the attributes and the applications that are seen to be part of the fourth industrial revolution are artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, autonomous vehicles, obviously, 3D printing, nanotech, biotech, quantum computing, energy storage, and of course my personal favourite, the drones. So if you want a history of the last 300 years in 20 seconds, here it is. The first industrial revolution was the industrial revolution that was enabled by speed and the mechanisation of production that formed large cities and also ensured an efficiency to production. So if you think about textile mills, you think about Manchester, that's the first industrial revolution. The second industrial revolution was founded on the revolutions in chemistry, engineering and electricity in particular that enabled mass production, mass consumption and Fordism. Yep. The third industrial revolution deployed electronics and information technology and production was automated. Okay, so there are lots of problems with the fourth industrial revolution, lots. And most of them are really about that this stuff's been going on a very long time. So let's use 3D printing as a great example. Oh yes, 3D printing, it's always the example used. 3D printing has existed for nearly 30 years. So why is it being summoned right now as this font of inspiration and aspiration? And also, you'll hear the phrase a great deal, disruptive technology. Whenever I hear the phrase disruptive technology, I want to go straight to the bar. This phrase has been used since the early 1990s and really badly. Disruptive technology has been used by consultants frequently who are using it to frighten you. They're using it to say, oh, disruptive technology, everything you know, everyone you know, everything you know will change, be unsettled, be disturbed. And of course, then you need to pay the consultant to try and help you manage the disrupted technology. You with me? So whenever you hear the phrase disrupted technology, it's meant to frighten you. Don't be frightened. And don't think it's part of the fourth industrial revolution. It's been around a very, very long time. And look, disruptive technology, let's think about it. The paperless office, the virtual university, MOOCs. Yeah, right, isn't that going well? So we use more paper in offices right now than in the history of the world. More people come onto campus to do a degree now than they did when the virtual university was promised in the mid-1990s. And MOOCs, well, great, but pretty well a failure because students actually want a teacher and they want assessment. So isn't this going well? So always remember that the proponents of these types of disruptive technology movements, of which the fourth industrial revolution is one, make their money on making you feel unsettled, and then they provide the solution to the problem that they invented. Boom. So Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, made his name, made his career, made his money on promoting the fourth industrial revolution. His name is associated with this phrase. So the problem, I think, of the fourth industrial revolution is really clear here. Through all these interfaces and the changing relationship between production and consumption, inequalities will increase. The people who gain the most from the fourth industrial revolution are shareholders, investors, and innovators. And my hope is that we can make you an innovator, and that's how you'll fit into this portfolio. But there is no doubt that the need for workers, that is people who work in a full-time capacity through their life, the need for those workers is going to decline. The point of automation and animation, but the point of automation is that fewer workers are required to do the same work. That's the point of automation, right? There's also going to be fewer demands or requirements for less educated, less skilled workers. Yes, there's still going to be the need for manual workers, but the great area of growth will require very well-educated populations. And do remember, by the way, the areas of growth will continue to be education and health as well. All the megatrend analyses show that health and education is still going to go along quite nicely through all these supposed technological revolutions. But it is clear that the middle class, the white-collar workers particularly, will be hollowed out. They'll be reduced in numbers. So this is a winner-takes-all economy. This is not simply about technology, I would argue. The bit of it that I find interesting is how we combine technologies, how we bring the technologies together, creating a pretty radical transformation of work, of leisure, of family practices and so forth. Economics, that matters a lot. Also, I think it transforms how we think about privacy, how we think about information. What is the public? What is the private? That's very unsettled in an era of mobile telephony. So the fourth industrial revolution, I think, does have some very interesting parts to it. And there's no doubt really that the future is already here with mobile computing and the quantum, no doubt about that. But let's think about, say, autonomous vehicles for a moment. Autonomous vehicles, anything that helps me parallel park is just brilliant. Okay, I can't parallel park at all. If this thing's going to do it for me, boom, that's tremendous. And look, there will be a market for autonomous vehicles. But the problem we have is there's a lot of people that actually like to drive. So you may have the technology, but there's always going to be a large slice of people that won't use it. So for example, we still see to this day people writing with a pen and a piece of paper. People like me take notes on a tablet, but certainly when I go into meetings, about half of that meeting room, half of those people are using a pen and using paper. Why is all this happening? Well, technology, and indeed development more generally, is always uneven. A good mate of mine, when I was doing a consultancy in South Africa, came up with the most amazing phrase. He described economic development as corrugated iron. Corrugated iron. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So if you think about it, nothing big, nothing huge, nothing revolutionary, just corrugated iron development, up and down, undulation. I think it's very easy to summon a revolution. Oh yes, this is revolutionary. And look, I've lived so long that I've seen about 5 supposed revolutions during my lifetime. You know what? I'm still waiting for the paperless office. It never happened. And just because, of course, tech exists doesn't mean that it's used, and certainly doesn't mean that it's used well. And just because millions of people are connected, billions of people in fact, are connected via mobile telephony, does not mean they have anything interesting to say. So from my perspective, we need to be putting a lot more attention on content, the people who can create the high quality content. That is you. Just because the technology allows you to connect to people doesn't mean you have anything interesting to say. Great example, Twitter. Billions of people are connected, not much to say. Only slightly joking. So what I believe we need to be focusing on right now is the development of high quality content. Then at that point we can work on its dissemination, its distribution and platform selection. So focus on you, focus on the research, get it high quality for me, do something stunning. That's the important bit. So while a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about today is really about a vibe or a spin or a spruik, I think the take-home lesson for PhD students here is pretty damn clear. Yes, the workplace is changing. Correct, that's true. The relationship, the interface between human beings and technology is also changing. And we need to put attention on those points of rub where that interface actually takes place. Much of our lives will be automated, and a lot more of our lives will be set and forget. And that has challenges as well. And as with previous revolutions, inequality will increase with consequences on poverty, family structures, and yes, housing. But you are a PhD student. You are highly educated in an era that desperately needs its highly educated staff. So if we can get your profile right, if we can get your expertise clear, and then we can demonstrate its transferability between industries, then you are good to go for the fourth industrial revolution. Then you'll be able to propel and configure a career even when really good jobs are in short supply. And really that's what I want for you, and that's really been the point, I think, of these 3 vlogs. What I want for you is choice. What I want for you is as much autonomy as I can configure for you. I don't want you working in a toxic workforce. I don't want you having to put up with some random person who's using their power, throwing their power around and making your life miserable. And certainly in the knowledge economy, in the creative industries, in the fourth industrial revolution, there is some autonomy in the workplace. Yes, they're cliched, yes, there's spin attached to them, but they are useful frames for you to consider how you brand yourself, how you brand your research, and demonstrate how it can move from one discipline and into another, and from one industry and into another. I wish you love, light, and peace. Tea out.